Hachinohe City, Japan. For the last 2 days, the YS Arena has served as the kickoff site for the 2024-25 ISU International Speed Skating season. For the first time, the Four Continents Championship taking place outside of North America, and it's been something of an amuse-bouche ahead of the new World Cup season. So far, 2 days of skaters have been getting some top-level races ahead of a trip southwest to Nagano and the M-Wave. This is the chance for strategies to be fine-tuned and preparations tested ahead of the real meat of the season still to come. One more chance for skaters to come on the final day of action here in Hachinohe City, with action coming up in the team pursuit, 1,000 meters, and mass starts for both men and women. Hi everybody, Gavin Day. Happy to have the call here for the third and final day of action from the YS Arena in Hachinohe City. The ISU Four Continents Championship wrapping up with some pretty fun races to come. The ever-popular team pursuit and mass start included, and as I just mentioned, the 1,000 meters is the only individual distance of the day as we get set for the start of the World Cup season that kicks off next weekend. So stay with us. You'll see the schedule coming up, and then we'll be with you in the racing getting going in, I'm going to guess, about 5 minutes from now. So stay with us.
In 2 minutes, we'll be starting the first competition today. Women's team pursuit, team Korea consists of Team Park, Yuji Kim, Yuna Jong, Team Japan, Yuna Takahashi, Hana Noake, and Rinko Saka.
Nice, looking in great condition in Hachinohe City. The facility, less than 10 years old. I believe it opened in 2019. A nice addition to the roster of ovals around the world, indoor ovals around the world. It hosted the World Junior Championships last season, and this is the first senior level ISU championship for the venue. There's a look at the Korean skaters about ready to take the ice for the women's team pursuit. There will be 2 heats, just 4 teams entered in the women's team pursuit. A lot of young skaters entered for 3 of them anyway, and then the Canadians boasting plenty of experience as they have with that same powerful roster over the years. Let's see if there are any last-second changes to that roster, but I don't see why you wouldn't go with Ioni Blondet, Valerie Malte, and Isabelle Weideman, the defending champions. There is a look at Korean, Park Ji-woo, Kim Yoon-ji, and Jung Yu-na. Yuka Takahashi, Hana Noake, and Rin Kosaka for Japan. The Japanese, the oldest skater. 2 of them are 22, and then there's a 19-year-old. So, chance for some young skaters here to get some reps in with their teammates and start to build something. So for those of you new to the concept of team pursuit, yes, it is quite a bit different from the traditional speed skating events. Teams of 3 going 6 laps to essentially just get their team over the line first. So it's a different kind of strategy, different kind of race. You're only as strong as your weakest teammate, and so the teams that can flow best, divide up the work best, will find success. And so you're looking for a nice compact position. The Japanese there with their hand on the backside of the teammates in front of them just to let them know that they're there. Nice look from that Japanese side, very much in unison. And they'll divide up who takes the lead. Of course, the skater in the front is right in the wind, so to speak, despite the fact that it is an indoor venue, but you're certainly using a lot less energy when you're in the draft, sucking up behind the teammates. And so a lot of teams will decide we'll have a workhorse in front, taking a long stint from the front. Right now it's Japan. Koreans coming perhaps a little bit unglued. A little gap opening up there. They seem to have it sorted, but a little break in the unity. And it is the Japanese still adding nearly a second that last half lap. They're still out in front. That is a look at the Korean side. They're almost 4 seconds down now. And Japan will likely set the time to beat. Of course, races can absolutely change in an instant, but look at that compact size right now. There's no break there. In unison. And Japan last year coming in with a silver medal behind the Canadians. That had a completely different roster that time. That had Momoka Horikawa, Sumire Kikuchi, and Yuna Onodera. So, new roster, good look for this young Japanese side. Takahashi, Noake, and Kosaka, two 22-year-olds and a 19-year-old. Korea Republic. Park is the oldest at 26, and then Kim and Jung are 21 and 19, respectively. Japan coming around to wrap things up. Will set the time to beat. Nice look from them. And they will set the fastest time, 3:04.02. And Korea getting all their skaters over the line. You see them fanning out. They all try to make that mad dash coming out of the corner. 3:12.27. Just over 8 seconds off the pace. And so, good race from the home side. Setting the time to beat. This one will be over very quickly as only 4 teams have entered. So, we will know who the medals will be in a short order. Japan knows it will be on the podium. It's just a matter of what color that medal will be.
Introducing the skaters teams participating in race 2. Starting from the crossing straight is Team Canada, Barry Monte, Ebony
There is a look at China, Yang Bin Yu, Adake Anar, and Jin Wenjin. And the Canadian side, that customary trio that know each other so very well. Valerie Malte, Ivany Blondet, and Isabelle Weideman, the defending Olympic champions. This team, so much experience training together, racing together. They know their strengths, they know their weaknesses. Just getting right back into the groove. It's Weideman on the back right now. And both sides in the green for the first time split. Of course, still a long, long way to go, but green means good. Red means you're behind on those time checks. And through the first lap, China hanging in. Canadians certainly experienced. Blondet and Malte 34, Weideman 29. For China, Yang and Jin are 22 and Adake 25. Oh, and the Canadians are down! For all the talk about experience, you can expect the unexpected. And did not see that coming. Certainly would love to see a replay of that, but it's all gone pear-shaped for them. And so China just keeping the skates on the ice now is the goal. They are in the green right now. The battle will be to hang on. And they would take the gold medal. Not sure what happened there, but two of the Canadians went down into the corner. 3 laps to go. The lead is coming down for China. Last year, the United States won bronze. They did not enter a team on this occasion. Let's see what the time check is. They've pumped it back up a little bit, just over 0.8 of a second. So Japan potentially heading to a silver medal behind China. Certainly would not have predicted that coming in, but that's why they do the races. The advantage now over a second for China. Still a unit, still together. Nobody really struggling off the back. And they have almost 1.4 seconds in the bank coming to the business end of the race here. There's the bell. They've now pumped up their lead to 1.6 seconds, so barring any drama, the gold medal will be going to China, the first of the day, the final day of competition in Hachinohe City. Still together now, it's 1.9. A little bit of disunity, but I think they're just setting themselves up to fan out across the ice. You don't want to finish in a line, or one kind of line. This is the kind of line you want to finish with everyone getting over as quickly as they can. And they do win, 1.82. The advantage, 3:02:20. The time, so China will celebrate the victory. To see what happened with the Canadians there. So Chinese victorious. They were silver medalists a couple of years ago at the 2023 event. And that is the only other medal in their history of 4 continents. And here we go. Let's have a look again. Canadians certainly did get off faster. They were in front of the two. It's Weideman at the back. And it's Weideman going down. And I think she took out Blondet with her. Oh no, it's Malte who went down. Blondet was at the front, just losing an edge. That's all it takes. Into the boards. Such an experienced side, though, that they know there will be certainly plenty more opportunities to get it right. And all of that, of course, culminating in just over a year's time in Milan with the Olympics. There are the results. China, Japan, Korea Republic, 1 through 3, the DNF for Canada. Getting set up now for the men's team pursuit. Another look, though, at the victorious side on the women's side. There will be 3 heats in the men's team pursuit. Eight teams entered in all. They'll be getting their medals in the ice resurfacing break to come. They get ready for the 1,000 meters. First ever Four Continents victory for a Chinese side. There's a look at the Kiwis on the men's side. They'll be in heat number 1 for the men's team pursuit. Always nice to see different programs getting into the mix in these events. Looks like a good crowd on hand as well in Hachinohe City on the northeast coast of Honshu Island. That's Japan's main island. You're not far from Hokkaido. You're pretty far north there, so you're right along the North Pacific. So I'm not sure how the teams will get down to Nagano after this event to the M Wave, but I would imagine certainly that bullet train or Shinkansen will be involved. Likely be the fastest option. It would be my choice anyway. Canadian men, they will be in heat number 6. So as the teams get ready, Kazakhstan, they look just about ready to go. They're in heat number 1, so looks like we will get things going in just a few minutes, but we'll take a quick pause as things get set up. I'll be back with you as they get lined up for the men's team pursuit.
In 5 minutes, we'll be returning to competition with our next race, Team Pursuit Men. The first race will consist of Team New Zealand, Team Kazakhstan. Second race will be Team Japan, Team China, and third race will be between Team Canada and Team United States.
男子チームパシュートレース競技開始5分前となりました。この後のレース第1組がカザフスタン、ニュージーランド、第2組中国、日本、第3組アメリカ、カナダで行われます。
Look at the start list.
In 2 minutes, we'll return to competition. The first race of Team Pursuit event.
Kazakhstan will be first up. The United States, of course, the world record holders in the distance. Part of that wacky week back, or wacky month back in January, where Norway set the new world record, and it lasted a matter of weeks. They set it at the European Championships at Heerenveen at sea level ice. And then a couple weeks later on the World Cup, the United States went back and retook the record that had been there since December of 2021. So the U.S. reloading here. There's a look at New Zealand. Peter Michael, Mark McCormack, and Kieran Hughes. In the fern, the all-black kit.
Starting from the Classics train is Team New Zealand, Peter Michael, Mark McCormack, and Kieran Hughes.
8 laps into men's team pursuit. And a bit of a change. Vitaly Chigolev was the initial entry for Kazakhstan, but they've gone with Bagdolet Sagatov, the 22-year-old. Kazakhstan's other 2 entrants, Vadim Yakupovsky and Nurali Akshal. So, very young Kazakhstan side. Sagatov is 22. Yakubovsky and Akshal are 21. A little more experience on that New Zealand side. Peter Michael will certainly see him in the team pursuit later on today. He and Kieran Hughes are both 31. Mark McCormack is 24. And what's great about the team pursuit is that there's time checks every half lap. So we get a very good idea of the progression, who's picking up speed and who's struggling to hang on. At the moment, it's the Kazakhs in front. Just remembering who was on the podium last year, the United States, Canada, and Japan. Japan going in the next heat, and it's the Battle of North America in the final heat. And you might have seen that shot on the infield. Jordan Stolz looking like he's going to give the team pursuit the old college try. On course for 3 individual gold medals, as he does so very often. Why not look for a 4th in the team pursuit as well? Either way, Kazakhstan in front, adding to that advantage. They're now just under 3 seconds ahead of the Kiwis. Good unity in this Kazakh side. A little bit lack of cohesion there, with one skater sort of exposed for a moment, but they're back in together. Very close, very compact, no gaps opening up between them. As I mentioned in the women's race, tactics are all different. A lot of teams drop where they have a workhorse in front who makes big pulls on the front, while the other 2 sort of sit in the draft and save some energy for the final bit. That latest half lap, 14.5 for New Zealand. But things are starting to change a little bit. Let's just see how this time that's up. Look at that. New Zealand pulling back a couple of tenths of a second that last half lap. They've done it a few in a row. And so Kazakhstan fading a little bit. New Zealand really coming into this race. A 14-4, closing that gap. How much time is left? How much energy is left? Those are the big questions remaining. But Kazakhstan fading a little bit. 15-2 that half lap. New Zealand 14-4, down to 1.6. It's just a matter of keeping it together, but the Kiwis are chasing this one down. 15-4, 2 laps to go. 14-5. I would think New Zealand could make the catch within the next half lap here. Kazakhstan perhaps going out a bit too hard. They're coming apart a little bit, not moving as a smooth wave there, and it's New Zealand in front right now. Leaving it late, timing it well, and the Kiwis coming up to the bell in front. They throw down a 15.8 half lap, 14.8 half lap. Kazakhstan the 15.8. And New Zealand certainly doing a very good job of keeping those times relatively consistent. You feel the pain coming out of those legs on the Kazakhstan skaters. Now New Zealand losing a bit of time, coming apart a little bit. Just have to get everybody to the line now. And they will do that and set the fastest time. Just under 4 minutes. 3:59.91 indeed. Kazakhstan 4:02.15. So, well-paced race by New Zealand. They gave up a few seconds early, but managed that deficit, came back late, and set the prohibitive fastest time.
Introducing the skaters competing in race
Second pair.
competing
We have
in
the
race
Chinese Wu Yu, Liu Han Bin, and Kong Zhenlong. There's a lot of experience in Wu, the 27-year-old. He's with a couple of teenagers. Liu is 18, Kong is 19. And Seitaro Ichinoe, Riku Tsuchiya, and Shomu Sasaki. The Japanese side. Sasaki still just 18 years old. New Zealand the time to beat. Plainly away. Japan, the bronze medal winners from last season in this event. Pretty much the same team it was. Ichinoe, Sasaki, and Tsuchiya. So a well-drilled side. They do know how to skate together. Of course, in training, skaters will often have these long trains of skaters, so they get familiar skating behind their teammates in training. Now it's really just a race situation. And it is Japan out in front. Nice and smooth from them. Not bad from China either. 13.5, 13.6 range. Both sides really banking some time early. So you expect the time to fade a little bit, but when you book this kind of time, you don't expect a large collapse like this. Japan 13.5 the last half lap. Pretty even so far. About 0.8 of a second between the two. Japan adding just over 0.1 of a second to their advantage on the Chinese side. Looks like Japan is adding it bit by bit by bit. Very comparable half-lap splits. All within about 0.2 of a second. I think it's Ichinoe on the front for Japan. There There's some pain etched in on that face. Now over 9.5 seconds to the good compared to New Zealand's time. Japan has this one drilled, and China's right there just in case there is a slip-up. Adding a few more tenths, over 10 seconds now ahead of New Zealand's time. Japan on course for another podium finish. We'll be watching the Battle of North America in the next heat to see if they end up with another bronze medal or if they get a different color this time around. They just picked up a silver, of course, on the women's side. Hachinohe, Tsuchiya, and Sasaki. The trio, the same trio of last year, coming back to do this again at the bell. They've got a comfortable margin that they've padded to it bit by bit by bit over the Chinese side. They also have more than 10 seconds advantage on New Zealand, and so China looking like a solid performance as well. But this is the team to beat right now, inside half a lap. And drilling it to the line. They will set the fastest time by a healthy margin. China in second, 3:44.47 for Japan, 3:47.51 for China. Just compare it to last year's time. That was in Salt Lake City. So, of course, different ice, different elevation, all that. And Japan threw down a 3:42.08. So, not a bad time for them. And let's just see, because I know there's always the track record possibility. I don't think we have one for that. Yeah, so no worries about the track record, about a track record. I guess it would be for now. Not a bad race either from the Chinese side. Consistent from them. There is a look at the U.S. Ethan Sepperin, Emery Lehman, and the man with the yellow armband, Jordan Stolz. Not a bad exclamation mark on the Canadian side. Connor Howe, Ted-Jan Blumen, and 27-year-old Hayden Mayer.
Introducing the teams and skaters of the last race of men's team pursuit. Starting from the crosses train is Team Canada, Connor Howe, Ted-Jan Blumen, and Hayden Mayer. Starting from the finishing straight is Team United States, Ethan Sepperin, Emery Lehman, and Jordan Stolz.
Let's see how much time Stolz takes on the front. World all-around champion, of course. Jack of all trades. Rematch of last year's top two. Last year, the U.S. had Sepperin, Casey Dawson, and Emery Lehman. Canadians, bit of a gap there. We'll see if that's part of it. I see one of the coaches saying, hold up, settle down. And so often you go out like a rabbit, something to chase into the draft a little bit, but what point is it a bit too much? Right now, it is the Canadians with the fast start. And a quick turn at the front, and it's Ted-Jan Blumen on the front, the great distance skater. See what kind of turn, what kind of pull he takes on the front. It's Hayden Mayer at the back. The 27-year-old Connor Howe, really the 1,500-meter specialist, is 24. And Blumen, 38. And the U.S. now in front. USA adding to the lead. 13-2 that last half lap. If the U.S. does just note the U.S. world record, 3:33.66. I did not have a chance to revisit that race from last season. That was a blast to call. I would have paid attention to each split just to see if it compared. My gut is telling me that it's not, but maybe it will surprise me at the end. Canada dipping into the 14-second half-lap split there. The USA comfortably in charge right now. It's Blumen on the front. See if he starts to come into his own. Of course, he has such an engine. Let's just see if he drives that Canadian engine all the way around, just picking up consistent lap times. U.S. almost 2 seconds to the good over Japan. Now under 1.9. The Canadians lapping consistently 14-second range. Sitting in fourth right now. Inside 2 to go. The U.S. on course to defend their Four Continents Championship. 1.75, and they'll come up to the bell. The Canadians have some work to do if they want to claw back onto the podium. Canada silver medalists the last couple years in this distance. They won it in 2022, silver in 23 and 24, potentially off the podium today. U.S. eyeing gold. Stoles, Lehman, and Separin have 1.6 seconds to work with. They will come around. Stoles is going to power things through here. And they will go P1, 3:43.13, 14.4 the last half lap. The Canadians came back a little bit. You see, they closed up in that last little bit, going faster than the U.S., and looks like it's just enough for them to scrape onto the podium with a bronze medal. So the medal streak continues for the Canadians. They've actually medaled in every single team pursuit in the history of the ISU Four Continent Speed Skating Championship. But it's gold for the Stars and Stripes today. Oh my. That's a shot. The price of victory, I suppose. Gold and bronze right there. And so that is the team pursuit. Japan taking the women's. USA taking the men's. Not Japan, pardon me. Let's get this right. New season for all of us. There's the results on the men's side. USA, Japan, and Canada. 1, 2, and 3. On the women's side, it was China, Japan, and Korea. There we go. Got it right now. So, during this flood to resurface, they will get their medals. And I think is it a wooden horse that's the sort of podium prize? Anyway, always keeping an eye on what the gift is in addition to the medals. Just a little token that makes each host city unique. And we'll take a little bit of a break. You'll get the podium presentation, and then I'll come back for the women's and men's 1,000 meters. Once again, my name is Gavin Day. Stay with us, everyone.
ISU 代表スワンナシルパーアーチャーより副賞は浜野勉公益財団法人日本スケート連盟副会長より授与されます。The presenters are Ms. Swana Silva Archer, ISU representative for the medals, and Mr. Tsutomu Hamano, JSF Vice President for the gift. Third place, Korea, Jiwoo Park, Yuji Kim, and Yuna Jung. Second place, Team Japan, Yuka Takahashi, Hana Noake, and Rin Kosaka. First place, Team China, Bin Yang, Ahina Adak, and Wen Jinjin.トラックレコード証明書は米内正明 YS アリーナ館長より授与されます。The track record certificate is presented by Mr. Masaaki Yonai, Director of YS Arena.
選手の国旗を掲揚し、優勝選手の国歌を演奏いたします。皆様、ご起立ください。Please rise for the national anthem of the winner.皆様、メダリストたちにもう一度盛大な拍手をお願いいたします。以上で女子チームパシュート競技の表彰式を終了いたします。
ただいまより男子チームパシュート競技の表彰式を開始いたします。Victory Ceremony Team Pursuit Men。 メダルは ISU 代表スワンナ・シルバー・アーチャーより、副賞は浜野勉公益財団法人日本スケート連盟副会長より授与されます。The presenters are Ms. Swana Silver Archer, ISU representative for the medals, and Mr. Tsutomu Hamano, JSF Vice President for the gift. Third place, Team Canada. Corner Howe, Ted Young Bowman, and Hayden Mayer. Second place, Team Japan. Seitaro Ichinohe, Rick Tsuchiya, and Shomu Sasaki. First place, Team USA. Ethan Sepon, Emery Lehan, and Jordan Stoltz.トラックレコード証明書は米内正明 YS アリーナ館長より授与されます。The track record certificate will be presented by Mr. Masaaki Yonai, Director of YS Arena. 選手の国旗を掲揚し、優勝選手の国歌を演奏いたします。皆様ご起立ください。Please rise for the national anthem of the winner. 「 皆様、メダリストたちにもう一度盛大な拍手をお願いいたします。
In less than 2 minutes, we'll be starting our next competition. Will be ladies, a women's 1,000 meters race. The skaters competing, please get ready.
女子 1000m 競技開始2分前です。
All right, back to the action. Women's 1,000 meters coming up. You may have heard the PA announcer saying we're inside 2 minutes away. 8 pairs in all, 16 skaters. Real strength is in the back end there. There's Kimmy Getz in the last pair. Brittany Bowes there as well. And jumping right into it, the first pair has Kang Soo-min, the 21-year-old Seoul native, going up against Pei Chong, Chinese veteran, 27. Pei, 53rd in the overall 1,000 meter World Cup standings. As is usually the case, the seeded skaters come closer to the end. Kang, she's not taking part in the mass start here this weekend, but she does say she wants to target a possible mass start medal in the Olympics. That's sort of her goal for the next year and a half. And the 1,000 meters, 2.5 laps. And it is Pei in front right now, 27-year-old. .29.07 the lap time there. She has 0.6 of an advantage on Kang Soo-min. Pei was 14th in the 500 meters, 22nd in 400 meters, 500 meters rather, in the 4 continents. She was 22nd in this distance at the World Championships. And it is Kang putting in the late charge. And Kang Soo-min will take the pair. 19.79 the time to beat. Big distance difference rather on that lap time. 1.7 seconds. Kang Soo-min hauled back there on Pei Chong, and that really was the difference. Completely different beast from the 500 meters. That's really just about all-out speed. This has that sprint endurance factored in. So it's not always who can reach the top speed, it's who can reach the top speed and maintain it for longer. Second pair. Wang Yingying of China and Maria Dagan of Kazakhstan.
Introducing the skaters competing in the race 2. Starting from the inner lane is Ying Wang of China. On the outer lane is Maria Dagan of Kazakhstan.
For Dagan, this is her first year at the senior level, the 18-year-old from Kazakhstan. She does have experience on this ice, however. The World Juniors last season were in Hachinohe City, so Dagan would have raced here. Wang Yingying, 19 years old, and a good opener from her. 200 meters, 0.4 of a second advantage. In terms of personal best, there's only a couple tenths of a second between them, and so we'll see how Wang holds on. Dagan skates a lot of 1,500 and 3,000 meters, so I would expect her to close things up as the race finishes. When you're more of a distance skater, obviously you don't start the quickest in the world. Let's see their lap times. 29.34 for Wang Yingying, 29.55 for Dagan. Really a lot of work for her to do on the last lap, and I think Wang is going to go over the top on the crossover. But she might be fading. I think Dagan is going to make a race of this. She has the lead now. Wang does have that inner lane, so she will get that last little bit inside to the line. It is going to be Wang taking the pair, or is she? It is Dagan who takes it. 121.09, 121.20. Not something you see everyday skater going over the top on the crossover and then falling behind and not winning the pair. But Dagan, talking about that 1,500 meter, 3,000 meter experience, she did really come into the race. Wang just not able to hold it in the end, and the woman from Kazakhstan takes the pair. Third pair has Kim Min-ji of Korea on the inner lane. You're looking there, though, at Chen Ying-chu of Chinese Taipei, a 29-year-old veteran. There's Kim.
Introducing the skaters competing in the race 3. Starting from the inner lane is Min-ji Kim of Korea, and the outer lane is In-chu Chen of Chinese Taipei.
Kim, 24-year-old from Seoul, was 42nd in the 1,000-meter World Cup classification last season. Had some better results in the 500, so would not be surprised to see Kim Min-ji off to a roaring start and trying to just hang on. 1/100th of a second separating the two there. 18.42, 18.41. Chen, 29 years of age. And she's keeping it close. Those two very evenly matched through 600 meters. It is Kim in front. She has almost a 1.5 second advantage. Now it's where the hang on tries to begin when you're maybe a 500 meter specialist in a 1,000 meter race. You are scrapping and clawing for every single tenth, every single hundredth. She got maybe a bit of a draft there behind Chen. Before she got into the inner lane, it will be Kim Min-ji winning the pair. She was in front by about 1.5 seconds. We'll see how she finishes. A little stumble. And in the end, she does lose time, but is able to hang on. 1:19.54. Chen Ying-chu slips to third with a 1:23.2. So the interesting contrast there. Kim Min-ji goes out, loses time in the end, but hangs on. Maria Dagan started slower and came on and made it an interesting race. She's up for second right now, but Kim Min-ji hangs on just enough. On the inner lane in pair number 4, Hana Noake and Lee Na-yun on the outer, 18-year-old from Korea Republic. Noake, still just 19, has a bronze in the 500 meters from a World Junior Championships. Certainly comes from a family of speed skaters. Both parents skated in the Olympics for Japan. She is from the Nagano area, so next week will feel right at home for her at the M-Wave, I'd imagine. But it's Lee, the 18-year-old, the faster opening right now, but it's a matter of hundredths of a second at the moment. Gonna get a good draft down that back stretch. is Lee Na-yun. 11th in the 500 meters earlier in this competition. She did the World Sprint Championships as well, did Lee. 1,000 meter 17th at the World Single Distances in Calgary last season. 14th in the overall 1,000 meter standings. Good pair. Noake and Lee, very evenly matched. Let's see what the inside lane does for Noake, and it's going to be Noake, I believe, on course to take the pair. Woman who now lives in Fujimi in Japan goes first by 2 seconds. What a race for her, 1:17.49, and that's a new personal best for Hana Noake. By half a second as well. Hana Noake, not a bad way to start the season. Her previous personal best, 1:17.99, that had been up since December of 2023. She did that up in Obihiro. So to do it still on low-level ice, not bad for her. Good way to start the year. And 50, Daria Vejenina of Kazakhstan, and Kako Yamane of Japan. A little bit of a fidget there from Yamane, but the gun hadn't gone off, so it's not a false start or anything. Let's see what take two brings. Yamane, another one who I expect to come out quickly and try to hang on. Better results in the 500 meters. She was 19th in the overall World Cup classification in the 500 last season, 38th in the 1,000. Yamane, another one of the skaters based out of that Obihiro Oval on Hokkaido. Not the quickest of openings from either of them. Vejenina, she finished 15th in the 1,500 meters earlier in this competition. 8th in the World Junior Championships in the 1,000 last year is Daria Vejenina, the 20-year-old. A lot of young skaters coming on this Kazakhstan side this weekend. And it is Yamane now in front, but she's a half a second behind now. See if we factor in a bit of a fade down the stretch. Vejenina will get in the inside lane. Very upright stance. She's not really getting too low, but that's a lot of pain too, I'd imagine. That's a lot of sprinting. It's Vejenina who's going to take the pair, and she will go third overall. Yamane to fourth, a 1:19.11 for Yamane, 1:18.74 for Daria Vejenina. And so Hana Noake remains atop the standings with a 1:17.49. I'll just note the track record by the great Miho Takagi, not skating this event this weekend. She has a 1:14.65 done back in December of 2022. Next pair, a couple of Olympic veterans, Mia Manganello of the United States and Madison Pierman, Canadian. Now Manganello, of course, subject to change, but she is on the start list for the mass start, one of the better mass start skaters in the world. Madison Pierman, really important member of that Canadian team sprint side that has been throwing down a lot of good results. Opening 200 meters very even, not the quickest of openings for these two. 19.40, 19.48. Through that crossover, Pierman from Ponoka, Alberta, will get to go into the inner lane. All of her international hardware, Pierman I'm talking about, has come in the team sprint or the team pursuit. She was 19th in the 500 meters here just a day ago. And it looks like it is going to be Manganello, the Olympic medalist. Going to take the pair. We'll see how kind of time she sets, although this might just be a warm-up for her for the mass start. 1:18.90, good for fourth. Pierman, 1:21.12. That puts her in 11th place. So another time not able to get past Hachinohe. Lee Na-yun still in second. Daria Vigenina in third. Some real power, though, coming in these final two heats. Namely, in the outer lane there, Brittany Bowe of the United States. The great Brittany Bowe, two-time world sprint champion. And then on the inner lane, Nadezhda Morozova of Kazakhstan. It'll be interesting to watch Morozova, skater who does a lot of 1500s and thousands as well, to see if she comes into this race the more it progresses. You could spend this entire race listing Bowe's achievements. Three-time world champion in this distance is the big one. Third in the World Cup standings last season. Morozova, 26 years old. Bowe, 36. Solid opener. Almost half a second to the good is Brittany Bowe. He's going to get a very good draft down this backstretch, I would think. Just getting sucked along a little bit. You love that slipstream feeling. Let's see how this time check compares to the youngster from Japan. It is Bowe leading the pair. Bowe leading the way. 45.95. 27.89 the lap time. Morozova also in the green compared to the current leader. That would be Noake of Japan. But all eyes on Brittany Bowe right now. Looking to throw down a time that not even her teammate, Kimmy Getz, can match. See what kind of speed Bowe carries around that corner. Driving one arm to the line. Bowe 1:15.66. Nearly 2 seconds ahead. Morozova slotting in for second as well. 1:17.16. And Brittany Bowe lands herself on the Four Continents podium. It's just a matter of where she will finish. Bowe knows how to turn up when it matters most. She picked up a silver in this distance in Poland last season on World Cup. Final pair. There is one woman who can beat Brittany Bowe. It's this woman on the inner lane, Kimmy Getz, the New Jersey native, second on World Cup standings in this distance last year. and Rin Kosaka. Kosaka has some World Junior Championship medals. That coming in the team pursuit. She has a gold and silver from those events, but gets, as I said, the 30-year-old second in the overall World Cup standings in this distance. Last year, she won medals in the 500, the 1,000, and the 1,500. A little bit behind Bo there right now to the tune of 17 hundredths of a second. Bo always just so animated. They're driving low. It's such a ubiquitous, it's a unique skating style. You can always spot gets on the ice. Just a huge drive with her. Great season last year. Trying to replicate it this year. Has a lot of work to do. Almost 0.6 of a second off the pace set by Bo. Kosaka skating into this race a little bit with a 28.54, not losing much time on Getz. It will be Getz crossing over into the inner lane, one arm driving round the corner the final time. It is Bo the leader right now. Getz hoping to challenge it. She was 0.6 of a second off the pace at the finish. Is losing more time, and she'll slip to third, a 1:17.23. Kosaka, good last lap there, 30.2. Closed up half a second on Kimi Getz. And so it is Brittany Bo atop the podium once again as 4 continents champion. Second will go to Nadezhda Morozova of Kazakhstan. And Kimi Getz of the United States will pick up the bronze. Fading late in that one was Getz. Had Kosaka closing up onto on the last lap. Kind of a sign perhaps that just didn't have the sprint endurance for this day, but we know the competitor she is, and she'll be back next weekend. Of course, a lot of the skaters are in different places when they come to these races. Where are you on your training block? How are you building? What events are you building for? There it is. By a 1.5 seconds, Brittany Bo, 4 continents champion. And another victory for the United States. That is the, let me just see, counting it up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th gold medal of these 4 continents for the United States. They now have a bronze as well. Coming into today, the U.S. had 4 medals, all of them gold. And they tacked on another gold in the team pursuit. And now Brittany Bo's gold and Kimi Getz's bronze. So 6 medals for them at the 2025 Four Continents Speed Skating Championships. Morozova will get a silver medal. So we'll reset, take a quick pause, and be back for the men's 1,000 meters.
competition for the men's 1,000-meter race will consist of 9 races. The first couple pairs, please get ready.
男子 1000m 競技開始5分前です。
Here's a start list for the men's 1,000 meters. 9 pairs, 18 skaters. Interesting to see that Laurent Dubreuil, the Canadian, will go in the 4th pair. Jordan Stolz out for another one. Will go in pair number 9 against Zach Stoppelmoor. Of course, anything he opts to race in, just got to take a quick look at the track record, and it's Tetsuya Shinama 108.67. Shinama is here, he's in the 8th pair. So 108.67 is the track record. Stolz his world record 105.37. Of course, we don't expect those to compare, as this is a sea level ice surface. And there you can have it. The next set of races gets underway in just under 2 minutes from time. First up will be Den Jihan of China and Cha Min-kyu of the Korea Republic. There we go. Deng, 21-year-old out of China. Cha is 31-year-old veteran, twice Olympic Games silver medal in the 500 meters.
Starting from the inner lane is Jihan Deng of China, and on the outer lane is Min-kyu Cha of Korea.
Cha was also the closing ceremonies flag bearer for Korea Republic at the last Winter Games in Beijing. So with Cha, with the accolades in the 500 meters, expect a fast start from him. Deng was also 22nd at the World Single Distances in Calgary in the 500 meters last season. He skated a lot of B division races on World Cup last year. And Cha from Seoul with the opening 16.7, 16.98 for Dang, and Cha will get as much of a draft as he wants there down the back stretch. And so Cha well out in front right now. We'll see how well he can hang on when you're a 500-meter specialist in a 1,000-meter race. It's now just fight for your lifetime. He has 9/10 of a second on Deng. 42.12 the lap time. 25.42. So about 6/10 of a second, but now it starts to get a little bit more labored. Now it gets a little bit more fatigued. The upper body's moving a little bit more. Cha trying to hang on to set the time to beat. Dang closing in on him. It might be the Chinese skater Deng Jihan going fastest in the end. Closed up right quick on that last stretch. Puts up a 1:10.62. Cha Min-kyu 1:10.90. So just inside of 2 seconds off the current lap record. Track record was Deng Jihan. First of 9 pairs. Still to come today, the mass start. Next up, Roman Binozarov of Kazakhstan. On the inner lane, Altaj Jardin-Bekuli on the outer.
Introducing the skaters competing in the race 2.
Both of these skaters, part of those young entrants for this Kazakhstan side.
On the outer lane is Altaj.
Binozarov 20, Jardin-Bekuli is 23. Jardin-Bekuli out of Astana. Binozarov is out of Rudny, which is in northern Kazakhstan. Jardin-Bekuli yesterday in the 500 meters put up a 500 meter time that really stuck around for a little bit. He ended up finishing 9th. So we'll see what kind of chops he has in the 1,000 meters. Both of them in the green. Wasn't the fastest opener. Of course, you see the 2 and the 3. Cha had the opening fastest 200 meters, but he could not hang on. Jardin-Bekuli and Binozarov, I'm sure they're well acquainted with each other. Jardin-Bekuli still behind the time set by Cha, but we do know he faded pretty hard. They're both still in the green compared to Deng's time. Deng did surge, and so we'll see here. Both of them have both arms going down the back stretch, trying to just keep as much speed going as possible. There's Altaj Jardin-Bekuli setting the fastest time, and he goes green. 1:10.40. 1:10.90. Binozarov slips him into 3rd. So Jardin-Bekuli in the lead by 0.02 of a second. Another skater from Kazakhstan, another one of their young skaters coming up in the next pair. First, though, on the inner lane, Oh Hyun-min, 27-year-old from Korea. And it's Andrei Semenov of Kazakhstan on the outer lane. His first year competing at the senior level. But Semenov has skated on this ice before. He was 14th in the 1,000 meters at the World Juniors last season. Semenov, one of those skaters with perhaps a more longer distance bend, so we'll see how he skates into the race. Oh was 12th in the 1500 meters on day number 1 here in Hachinohe City, and he will have the faster opening, but only by a couple hundredths of a second. Both of them are about half a second off the pace set by Altaj Jardin-Bekuli. But like I said, Semenov does a lot of 1500s, does a lot of 3000 meters. I expect him to come into this race. Oh, still leading the way though at the bell. Still about a half second off the pace. Semenov slipping a little further behind. He's a second behind his teammate. And it will be going over the top. Still got both arms on the back. Semenov has both his arms going. And it will be coming around to lead the pair. We'll see how he finishes overall. Driving one arm. Reaches. Goes fastest by a hundredth of a second. 1:10.39. Andrei Semenov, 1:12.60. So Oh Hyun Min by a hundredth of a second. How important was that reach, that kick out at the line? New man atop the leaderboard. And it's also a new personal best for him. His previous being 1:10.48, so he just knocked 9 hundredths of a second off of his personal best. Did Oh Hyun Min, the man winning that heat. Very interesting pair here. Tai Wei Lin, 2022 bronze in the 1,000 meters in this event, the 4-continent. Also does some inline skating. And Laurent Dubreuil of Canada on the outer. Dubreuil, silver in the 1,000 meters at the Beijing Olympics. As I mentioned, he has to balance his training with being a dad, of course. His father also a speed skater. And look at that opening, 16.43. Dubreuil by 0.8 of a second. He was very happy with his 500-meter time yesterday. Very happy clocking a time on sea level ice. Let's see if Dubreuil just keeps adding to it. He sure does. Almost a second and a half. 25.14 the lap time. Tai fading a little bit. And Dubreuil knocking a second and a half out of Oh Hyun Min at the moment. Just a note, Tatsuya Shinama's track record, 1:08.67. Dubreuil was on the podium in the 500 meters yesterday. Starting to feel a little bit labored as he comes to the line, but now he goes 1:09.04 by 1.35 seconds. So Dubreuil throws down a time to beat that's just under 0.4 of a second off the track record. And I'm not sure how much life that track record has left with some of the skaters still to come. There's the fifth pair, Masaya Yamada. Picked up gold in the 1,000 and the 1,500 in Obihiro last season. The elder brother of the Yamada family. And then Anders Johnson, the 27-year-old Canadian on the outer lane. Yamada, speed skating family. Brother Kazuya also skates. Anders Johnson, his grandfather actually played in the NHL as a hockey player. And it's Johnson in front with the faster opening 200. About 15 hundredths of a second off the time set by Dubreuil. Yamada, with that 1500 meter expertise, we'll see how strong of a finisher he is. Still Johnson in front right now. 109.24, his personal best. He's leading at the bell. 4/10 of a second off the pace set by Dubreuil. The lap time 25.39. Yamada 25.77. Yamada gets that benefit of crossing over into the outer lane. Let's see how much Johnson is fading. He's certainly feeling it right now. I thought I saw a bit of a grimace there. Yamada. Here comes Masaya Yamada side by side out of the turn. It's Yamada taking it to the line. And he will go second. 109.85. 4 hundredths of a second in the end. 109.89 for Anders Johnson. And Johnson, when your 109.24 personal best is set in Calgary, and you come within, well, a couple tenths of a second on that on sea level ice. It's going to be something to be read into that. Nice skate from him. But Dubreuil's time survives the first challenge. Next pair has Liu Bin of China in the black with the red sleeves. 18 years old. Already has skated at the senior level. Austin Kleba, 25-year-old, out of Geneva, Illinois. Of course, like that U.S. team now based mostly in Salt Lake City or in Kearns, Utah. Kleba, former hockey player, then got into speed skating. Also, musician in his spare time. Liu, 19 years old, 24th in the World Championship 1,000 meters in this distance. Or 1,000 meters, that's repetitive anyway. Last season in Calgary. Kleba's going to get a good draft down the back stretch, tucking into that inner lane. Laurent Dubreuil, still the time to beat. And Kleba off by 6/10 of a second, 25.48 the lap time, knocking up about half a second on Liu Bin there. Kleba gritting his teeth, both arms going. Around the final turn. All he can focus is on the finish line. Liu making a bit of a charge. It will be Kleba taking it. And he will go 8th with a 110.82. Liu closing up by several tenths of a second, ending up faster of the two. Kleba fading on that last lap. And so Dubreuil survives another challenge with 3 pairs still to come. So it's one of Dubreuil's teammates to challenge him here. First though on the inner lane, Cho Sung-yuk of the Korea Republic. Has a World Junior Championship silver medal in this distance in his career a couple years ago. The man from Seoul. And how perhaps the 1500 more to his forte. We'll see how he can fare here. Howe 19th in this distance at the World Single Distances in Calgary. A little bit better. He finished 12th, but he has had a lot of his best results in the 1500, getting on the podium on World Cup last year in the 1500. He was 4th in that distance a few days ago, so one would imagine he would finish stronger. He's about 0.6 of a second off Dubreuil's time. It's Cho leading the way right now. 7th in the 500, 20th in the 1,000 meters at World Single Distances. So sort of the opposite, where maybe a stronger opening skater is Cho Sung-yuk. And now you see it. Just about side by side, 0.04 the difference. Howe skated the faster lap there, inside of a second of Dubreuil's time. Both skaters one arm going. Powerful drives from Howe. See if he can close up on his teammate. It's Connor Howe coming around to take the pair, dropping both the arms, and he goes second. 109.52. So he did close, finishing faster than his teammate, but not able to close that gap, finishing just inside half a second of Dubreuil. And that track record is holding up in the end, 108.67. Just a couple tenths of a second off, but the man who holds it is in the next pair. And he's on the outer lane, Tatsuya Shinama. Finishing in 3rd yesterday in the 500 meters. Lian Ziwen, 26-year-old from Harbin, starting on the inner. And there's Shinama, the current track record holder. And from Obihiro. Shinama, bronze in the 1,000 meters last season at Four Continents. That was, of course, held at Salt Lake City. Such a strong skater. You just see how wide he is. He is a built man, and he has a tenth of a second on Dubreuil. One of these guys who's good in the 500 and the 1,000. How's the endurance going today? Maybe a bit of a crossover difficulty there. Lian Ziwen waiting there for Shinama to go around. We'll see how that affects Shinama's time. He has 2 tenths of a second advantage on Dubreuil. 25.04. The time to beat right now, 109.52. Knocking another couple tenths of a second, Shinama would inch closer to his current track record. He was bronze yesterday in the 500 meters. Tatsuya Shinama perhaps eyeing the top of the leaderboard for the moment with one pair to go. Does he hang on? Yes, he does. 108.38, new track record for Tatsuya Shinama. So he threw down a whopper of a final lap, 27.01. by nearly 0.7 of a second over Dubreuil. So a small measure of revenge for yesterday. Tatsuya Shinama topping the leaderboard, new track record. But we shall see if that lasts for one final pair, because it's a man who is essentially writing new records everywhere he goes, Jordan Stolz in the last pair. But a nice race from Tatsuya Shinama.
Introducing the skaters competing in the 9th and the final race of men's
So there might have been some crossover angst, I suppose, but in the end everybody got through it okay. So Shinama will be on the podium again. Will he repeat a bronze of last year, or will he go up higher than that? Here we go. Zach Stoppelmore, 25-year-old. On the inner lane, Jordan Stolz. on the out air. Stoppelmore going with the down start. That's ubiquitous from athletes who have done inline. Stoles, world all-around champion, 6-time single distances champion, back-to-back in the 3 distances. He's behind right now by about a quarter of a second. Stoppelmore starting just a little bit slower than him. We'll see what kind of draft Stoles uses down that back stretch. Tucking in nicely onto the inner lane. Jordan Stoles, he already won the 500. He's already won the 1500 here in Hachinohe City. Still exactly the same as he was after 200 meters. 23 hundredths off the time set by Tatsuya Shinama. And Shinama, we know, threw down a mammoth of a last lap there. Stoles has some work to do around the final turn. If there is anyone who can do it, it is Jordan Stoles. Is he going to go 3 for 3 at the 4 continents? Yes, he is! 1:08.04, 26:44 that last lap. Another track record. Shinama, so sorry, your new track record only lasted a pair. And it is 3 for 3 for Jordan Stoles, rewriting his name on yet another record. 1:08.04. Watch out, world. Jordan Stoles is already in form. Shinama will be happy with a silver medal, moving up 1 place from this distance a year ago, up 1 place from the 500 meters yesterday. And there's no shame in losing your track record to a prodigious talent who is writing new track records at just about every oval he skates on. The bronze will go to Canada's Laurent Dubreuil. So, 2-medal weekend for him in the individual races. Picking up silver in the 500 yesterday. So not bad for the Canadian, who started last season almost like a skating mash unit with a series of injuries. Coming in feeling just fine now, it seems. But he has a target on his back, but there's just no catching him right now, is there? You just lose words to say just how great he is, and he's still just 20 years old. Track record. So by just under 35 hundredths of a second, Tatsuya Shinama silver. Laurent Dubreuil exactly a second behind Stoles for bronze. Connor Howe of Canada in 4th. Zach Stoppelmore in 5th. And so another break coming up. They'll resurface. They'll give some medals. And then we'll be back for the final 2 races on the weekend. That being the women's and men's mass start. So wherever you may be around the world, grab a break, grab a snack, grab a drink. Enjoy the medal ceremony. And we'll be back with you for the mass starts.
ただいまより女子 1000m 競技の表彰式を開始いたします。 Victory Ceremony 1000 meters Women。 メダルは ISU 代表スワンナ・シルパーアーチャーより、副賞は岡田武史公益財団法人日本スケート連盟理事より授与されます。 The presenters are Ms. Swana Silver Archer, ISU representative for the medals, and Mr. Takeshi Okada, JSF director for the gifts. Third place, Kimi Getz of USA. Second place, Nadizhda Morozova, Kazakhstan. First place, Brittany Bowe, USA.選手の国旗を掲揚し、優勝選手の国歌を演奏いたします。皆様ご起立ください。Please rise for the national anthem of the winner. 皆様、メダリストたちにもう一度盛大な拍手をお願いいたします。以上で女子 1000m 競技の表彰式を終了いたします。This concludes the 1000 meters women victory ceremony. ただいまより男子1000メートル競技の表彰式を開始いたします。Victory Ceremony 1000 meters men。 メダルは ISU 代表スワンナ・シルパー・アーチャーより、副賞は岡田武史公益財団法人日本スケート連盟理事より授与されます。The presenters are Ms. Swana Silver Archer, ISU representative for the medals, and Mr. Takeshi Okada, JSF director for the gift. Third place, Laurent Dubreuil, Canada. Second place, Tatsuya Shinhama, Japan. First place, Jordan Stoltz, USA.トラックレコード証明書は米井正明 YS アリーナ館長より授与されます。The track record certificate will be presented by Mr. Masaaki Yonai, Director of YS Arena. 入賞選手の国旗を掲揚し、優勝選手の国歌を演奏いたします。皆様ご起立ください。Please rise for the national anthem of the winner. 皆様、メダリストたちにもう一度盛大な拍手をお願いいたします。以上で男子1000メートル競技の表彰式を終了いたします。This concludes the 1000 meters men victory ceremony.
We'd like to remind the teams, only one medical staff could be in the infield for the mass start. We'd like to ask the coaches to leave the infield for the start of the mass start. Thank you. In 5 minutes, we'll be starting our next competition. Will be women's mass start. We'd like to remind the teams, only one medical staff for this competing skater. The team of the competing skater is allowed. So we'd like to ask the coaches to leave the infield before the start of the race. We'd like to ask the coaches to leave the infield. Only one medical staff per team is allowed in the infield.
女子マススタートレース競技開始5分前となりました。ここで、ご連絡をいたします。この後行われますマススタートレースにおきましては、チーム関係者1名、そしてメディカルスタッフ1名のみの中地への立ち入りとなります。ご協力をよろしくお願いいたします。
Final two races of the day, the women's and men's mass start. Of course, completely different from everything we've seen so far. 16 laps. Sprint points after laps 4, 8, and 12. And then the big points on the finish line. You saw the start list right there. Of course, you need to look at 1, 2, and 3, the real seeded skaters. Valerie Malte, Ivany Blondin, and Mia Manganello as the skaters really to watch. Plenty of international success amid those skaters, but there's always the youngster, the newcomer that may want to upset the apple cart a little bit and make a name for themselves. So they do tend to get introduced by one, but before they do, I'll just read through them. Valerie Malte, Ivany Blondin of Canada, Mia Manganello, Greta Myers of the United States, Park Ji-woo, and Kim Yoon-ji of Korea Republic, Ji Wenjin, Chen Aoyu of China, and Hana Noake and Kyoko Nita of Japan. line them up. They'll introduce them, and I think we're about 2 or so minutes away from start time. Looks like maybe a bit of a delay here. Just revisiting last year's podium, Blondet was the winner in Salt Lake on 4 continents. Georgia Birkland of the United States was second. Of course, she's not here. And Kyoko Nita, who is here, finished in 3rd.
I'd like to remind information to the skaters who are going to be delaying the start of the race by 2 minutes. And we're going to ask the skaters to make 1 lap. I'd like to ask the skaters to make a lap across the line to make sure the transponder is registered.
There you go. Looks like they're retesting some of the timing at the oval there in Hachinohe City. So a bit of a delay. They'll all do 1 lap. Malte, the Canadian, comes in as the overall mass start World Cup winner. Her teammate Blondet was 2nd, and Mia Manganello was 4th. If I remember correctly, there was a memorable mass start race to begin the season, and I think it was in Stavanger in Norway, where some big names broke away off the front. I think Marijke Groenewold of the Netherlands was among them. And there was no response from the field. And so usually the breakaways get caught, but this was a strong breakaway, and the main field didn't react. And then in the end, the winners, the podium, lapped a number of skaters. And there's a lot of discussion over when they crossed on just how many skaters got lapped, because that resulted in essentially disqualification, and they got no World Cup points in it. I think it might have been Malte, Manganello, and Groenewold of the Netherlands, and just a sign that you never know what's going to quite happen in these mass start races. If there's no reaction in the field when a couple skaters break away, about anything can happen. So I think now we might be ready to go for some introductions down on the ice level. Oh dear. Well, it seems there is a continued issue with some of the timing there, some sort of technical glitch going on. So, well, stay with us. I think you'll know as soon as I do what's going on. But for now, the skaters are bundled up and have been politely told to, well, keep warm, and we'll let you know. So, stick with us. Still to wrap things up from Hachinohe City.
ただいま選手が着用しておりますトランスポンダーのチェックを行っております。機械の不具合の確認をしております。少々お時間をいただきます。
skaters of the rest of the field. Helmet number 7, Greta Myers, USA. 8, Hana Nowake of Japan. Helmet number 9, Yoonji Kim of Korea. And helmet number 10, Kyoko Nita of Japan.
There you are. They're finally ready to go. And they'll line up for the start. And it's never a rip-roaring start to these things. We always are just sort of waiting for the skater to animate, really go off on a flyer. Of course, you can use any part of the track. They all go into that blue, usually used for warm-up ice. And the main ones, you just watch the helmets. It really is helpful. You'll see the seated skaters 1, 2, and 3. Malte, Blondet, Manganello. Now we just kind of wait. There always tends to be a skater who tries to go off on a flyer, push their luck, pick up those minor points, see if they can't hang on until the end. Kind of looking forward to when Timothy Lubineau of France gets in. Whenever he was in mass start races last season, he was always the one to animate, to shake things up. And a 1:21.6. Not the fastest lap in the world. Kim Yoon-ji on the front at the moment. It's Blondet marking her. And you would have to wonder if one of the skaters on one team gets off on the front, would their teammate organize a chase, or would they just let the other teams chase? Of course, some good strong skaters, so if there is a breakaway involving one of the Canadians or the Americans or of the Japanese skaters, then the other one might just be with them. We are on a sprint lap now. It's Kim Yoon-ji leading it around, and I think Blondet is there for second. And is it Manganello or is it Myers who snuck up for third? We'll just await confirmation. There you go. Kim Yoon-ji with 3, Blondet with 2, Manganello with 1. Of course, in the grand scheme of things, on the line, those are where the big points are. So these sprint points are really to help with position. If there are races where there are advancements, semifinals and whatnot, those points could always make the difference. But it's now Blondet on the front. Not sure she wants to be there. Chen Aoyu right behind her, the 19-year-old. Quite the age range. From a couple of 19-year-olds. Now there goes an attack. That's a Rising Sun helmet. Or uniform, rather. One of the Japanese skaters. Kyoko Nita. Kind of the late addition here to the race. Fans certainly appreciate someone shaking things up a little bit. She has been monitored, though, and it's not really going to gain her much ground. Nita, 25 years old, decides to save the matches for another effort later on. This one was not going to work. Now the looking around resumes. Greta Myers is there, the former hockey player. Not afraid of being in close quarters with other people on the ice. Blondet is there. Another sprint lap coming. Blondet, former short track speed skater, spent her summer on a bike, riding professionally in the U.S. We know her ability to emerge from the dust victorious. Of course, her great rival Elena Schouten of the Netherlands retiring. Not sure if she's had her baby yet. She was pregnant anyway. That's Schouten I'm talking about, who was going to have the baby. Now enjoying life post-skating. And we're really waiting for the other shoe to drop here. Still not much just yet. It was Nita going on a bit of a flyer. Wonder if everybody's just waiting for the final sprint, and we'll just see all-out chaos going for it. Some ramping up a little bit, motion coming from the back. I see one of the Chinese skaters coming forward. That's Chen Aoyu. Not at the front though. Right now on the front it is still Kim Yun-ji. She's been, I guess, the most animated of them. One very much a chess match. I feel everything is kind of building up, and there will come the moment. And Kim standing up, going, "Anybody? Anybody? Bueller want to go to the front?" Nobody wants to be on the front right now. Of course, it's easier to ramp things up from behind, build up a head of steam, and get to the front than it is to be looking over your shoulder constantly, seeing who's coming. Another sprint lap is here. This is the third one to come. It is still Kim Yun-ji on the front. Tempo picking up a little bit. Kyoko Nita there, who did go on a bit of an attack earlier, did not last long. And then it's Chen Aoyun, but it is going to be Kim Yun-ji taking the third sprint. Kyoko Nita in second. And now it's time for the big points. They're really just saving this one for the end, aren't they? Kim again standing up, inviting somebody else to go to the front. They're just queuing up behind her. There's a finishing kick at the end. I would put a pick on for Blondet. Does this race just maybe smell of something a bit different? Something wacky, perhaps. Coming down to the end of it. 2 laps to go. It is one of the Japanese skaters opening things up. I believe it's Hana Noake. And she's committed to this one. And Blondet marking her. Nope, it is Kyoko Nita again. But now it's Blondet. Sensing the moment, it's Blondet and Manganello 1 and 2 right now. Final sprint for the mass start. This one really is for the medals. There is a crash. Now it is chaos in the race. It's Blondet in front. This is a long time on the front. Manganello watching her. Park Ji-woo, also there of Korea Republic, has Blondet spent too much time on the front. Blondet still leading, and it is going to be Blondet defending her Four Continents Championship. All just waiting until the end, and then it all just sets off. Yvonne Blondin, second year in a row. And second year in a row, an American skater picks up the silver. This time, it's Mia Manganello. And I think Park Ji-woo got up for third. So most of the race was spent just building up for the final sprint. Kyoko Nita, last year's bronze medalist, lit the fuse really, but Blondin was wise to it, followed, and then made her move late.
Information to the team, since we have a 10-minute delay, the men's mass start will start at 4:57, 16:57. With the 10 minutes delay, we will start the men's mass start at 16:57.
You heard that, the final race. In about 7 minutes time, we get the confirmation of those results. Blondin, Manganello, Park Ji-woo 1, 2, and 3. Malte up for 4th. Chen Aoyu of China coming in 5th. Quick final pause as they get set up for the men's mass start. We'll be back with you shortly.
In 5 minutes, we'll be returning to competition with men's 5 men's mass start race.
男子マススタートレース競技開始5分前となりました。競技開始5分前です。
Final race of this 2025 ISU Four Continent Speed Skating Championships. Men's mass start. You see the start list there. Chung Jae-won, certainly one to watch. World Cup winner last season. 12 skaters in all. They'll be introduced one by one on the ice, but I'll just read through them as well. There's Chung Jae-won, Peter Michael, Ethan Seperin, Kotaro Kasahara, Liu Hanbin, Park Sung-yeon, Pan Bao Shuo, Jonathan Tobon, Hayden Mayer, Kieran Hughes, Vadim Yakubovsky, David Larue, wears number 12. Hopefully all is organized there and they'll get off at the appropriate time.
In 2 minutes, we'll be starting our last race of the day, men's mass start.
男子マススタートレース競技開始2分前となりました。本大会最終レースとなります。
Introducing this first skater, helmet number 1, Jaewon Chun of Korea. Helmet number 2, Peter Michael of New Zealand. Helmet number 3, Ethan Seperin of USA. Helmet number 4, Kotaro Kasahara of Japan. Helmet number 5, Han Bin-yu of China. Helmet number 6, Sang-won Park of Korea. Introducing the skaters to the rest of the field. Helmet number 7, Bao Xianpan of China. Helmet number 8, Jonathan Tobon of USA. Helmet number 9, Hayden Meyer of Canada. Helmet number 10, Kieran Hughes of New Zealand. Helmet number 11, Vadim Yakubovsky of Kazakhstan. Helmet number 12, David Larue of Canada. And helmet number 13, Vitaly Chikwan of Kazakhstan.
There we go. Everybody safely away cleanly.
男子マススタートレースがスタートです。
As I mentioned, Chung Jae-won
チョン・ジェウォン、2番ニュージーランド
picked up a gold medal in Salt Lake City in the World Cup. That came a week after he won the mass start in the Four Continents Championship in Salt Lake. He also picked up silver medals in Quebec City and in Tomaszów Mazowiecki in Poland. So he finished second overall in the World Cup mass start standings. So, if you're looking for a prohibitive favorite, maybe that's your guy. Peter Michael of New Zealand finished 6th in the mass start World Championships in Calgary. Finished 11th in the overall World Cup standings as well. Different look for the Canadian side. David Larue and Hayden Mayer in. Jordan Belchos, the longtime distance skater, mass start skater, he has retired. And no Antoine Gélina-Beaulieu here either for them. Jonathan Tobon, the young American, getting a look here. His teammate Ethan Sepperin there, right near the front, I believe. Yeah, he's sitting 4th overall right now. And another kind of relaxed opening. Sepperin finished 12th in the overall mass start standings last season. Really the man with 1 on his helmet, really marshalling things right now. Inviting someone else to join him. There's a bit of a move. That's from Kazakhstan. I don't think I said helmet 13. That would be Vitaly Chigolev. And we're coming up to sprint point number 1. It is a Kiwi off on a flyer right now. I believe it's Kieran Hughes. Helmet number 10. That is in fact the case. And so the 31-year-old from New Zealand. Could also be Peter Michael getting up there for 2nd. Not often you see New Zealand at 1 and 2 at the sprint points, but I think that was Peter Michael getting up there. It was Han Bao Shuo, a Chinese youngster, up for 3rd. And we'll see if Hughes just continues his attack. He is getting low. And I did see a big stand-up in the field, and so I think he's committed to an attack now. It is a long way to go. So maybe he is just going to pick up sprint points. Pick up as many as I can, but the neutral certainly always loves the breakaway. Especially if it's a solo effort. Start to tick down. He's got the straightaway on them. I think there is some urgency in leading this chase now. Is it the 2 Canadians chasing him? But Kieran Hughes, yeah, it's Larue and Meyer on the front of the chase. It's really fractured the chasing group. Kieran Hughes, if he can keep it together for a little bit more, there's at least 1 more sprint point in it for him. Because he's just fractured the chasing group. Exhaustion would set in at some point, and I don't think he's got enough in him, and he's not been working with anybody, so the pain will come soon. But I think for now there's got 1 more sprint point for Kieran Hughes. Hughes is 31, originally from Palmerston North, New Zealand, now lives in Hamilton. Also a former inline skater. Couple times world championships in inline, but here he is now, and he's been caught by the Canadians. And it's Meyer and Larue. We're about to drop Hughes. Chigolev of Kazakhstan in 3rd, and this might be a tidy move from the Canadians. See if they start to work together. They are. They're taking turns at the front, and kind of like in cycling, where if you can organize, share the work. You can get back in, recover a little bit in the draft. And 1 more sprint point before the finish. And Shigolev takes a turn and pulls off, and so there is some nice organization in this breakaway. Hats off to Kieran Hughes for animating this race. Another sprint point coming up. And now I believe the two Koreans maybe caught out a little bit. Park Sung-yeon and Chung Jae-won caught out. Hughes a bit in no man's land. He will be caught, but this trio, this one might be carried to the finish. They've got the corner on the field. Now there is some more urgency. The chase is coming. Peter Michaels chasing, picking things up. Hanban Shuo of China is also there. And I think Ethan Separin of the United States. So 3 for Larue, 2 for Chigolev, 1 for Meyer. One more to go. This is going to be for the big points. Is there a big enough gap, and is there enough in the legs of those three men? There certainly is a healthy gap. Let's see what the splits are. But the field, sufficiently motivated, can close up really quickly. It's got the straightaway now. Tick those laps off. Another one down. Keep checking in the background of your screen. There's a long way to go, and you feel like finally the field is organizing. See two Americans at the front, Tobon and Separin near the front. And yeah, you have to start thinking that I don't think this is going to be enough for the breakaway. They will keep fighting, and kudos to them. But there's Chung Jae-won, perhaps timing his moment to perfection. They are inside the final lap now. It's heart in the throat time. Potentially 2 Canadian medals. But Separin is chasing. Chung Jae-won is chasing it. One final turn. It's 1 Canadian. And Vitaly Chigolev perhaps fending off the field. Have they left it too late? They have. It is going to be Vitaly Chigolev taking it. How about that? $13 on the helmet, 1 on the line. And it's David Larue, I believe, getting up for silver. And a nice ovation for Kieran Hughes. That race got going really because of him. I did not see if if the other Canadian got caught for bronze. I think they're announcing that Meyer may have gotten up there for bronze. Let's just wait and see. Yes, there you have it. I haven't seen it up officially on the screen yet, but my results board shows Vitaly Chigolev first, David Larue second, Hayden Mayel in third. And so it ended up being a nice move from the Canadians to set that off. They were not caught in the end, but you would have to think, what a win for Vitaly Chigolev, perhaps the biggest of his career. He does have a bronze medal on a World Cup a couple of years ago, but certainly a big result for him. 26-year-old from Kazakhstan. You don't always have to be the strongest skater to pick up a victory in mass start, and he read that well following the two Canadians breaking away. They worked together just enough, and did just enough to stay away, and he timed his sprint beautifully and took the win. But Kieran Hughes setting things off, and then it was up to the two Canadians and Chigolev to really drive the race forward. Chigolev had to bridge there from the field. And the victorious trio right there. A little stumble there. Wonder what that difference that made for David Larue. There you have it. Good end for Kazakhstan, picking up a gold medal in the men's mass start. Canadians silver and bronze. Chung Jae-won not able to make the bridge in time, finishing in fourth. Fifth for Ethan Sepperin and Kieran Hughes. That attack earlier to get a couple of the minor sprint points landed him in sixth. So that wraps up competition from day 3 and overall at the 2025 ISU Four Continents Speed Skating Championship. I will leave you ahead of the final medal presentations for those mass starts, but that's just the beginning of a long, long speed skating season. Next weekend, these skaters will be joined by those from Europe in Nagano at the M-Wave, the site of the 1998 Winter Olympic Speed Skating Competition, World Cup #1. It'll all get going next weekend. And so, signing off for now. Looking forward to talking to you more over the course of this speed skating season. My name is Gavin Day, and goodbye.
ただいまより女子ボクスタート競技の表彰式を開始いたします。Victory ceremony must start women. メダルは ISU 代表スワンナ・シルバーアーチャーより、副賞は浜野勉公益財団法人日本スケート連盟副会長より授与されます。The presenters are Ms. Swana Silva Archer, ISU representative for the medals, and Mr. Tsutomu Hamano, JSF Vice President for the gift. Third place, Ji-woon Park of Korea. Second place, Mia Manganello of USA. First place, Ivani Blondin of Canada.選手の国旗を掲揚し、優勝選手の国歌を演奏いたします。皆様ご起立ください。Please rise for the national anthem of the winner. 皆様、メダリストたちにもう一度盛大な拍手をお願いいたします。以上で女子マススタート競技の表彰式を終了いたします。This concludes the Mass Start Women Victory Ceremony. ただいまより男子マススタート競技の表彰式を開始いたします。Victory Ceremony Mass Start Men。 メダルは ISU 代表スワンナ・シルバーアーチャーより、副賞は浜野勉公益財団法人日本スケート連盟副会長より授与されます。The presenters are Miss Swana Silver Archer, ISU representative for the medals, and Mr. Tsutomu Hamano, JSF Vice President for the gift. Third place, Hayden Mayer of Canada. Second place, David LaRue, Canada. First place, Vitaly Shishigov of Kazakhstan.選手の国旗を掲揚し、優勝選手の国歌を演奏いたします。皆様ご起立ください。Please rise for the national anthem of the winner.
「
皆様、メダリストたちにもう一度盛大な拍手をお願いいたします。以上で男子マススタート競技の表彰式を終了いたします。This concludes the Mass Start Men Victory Ceremony. 以上で2020